What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. So by now, as Fallout fans, we all know how bad Fallout 76 was. I reviewed the game and perhaps gave it a little bit of a pass, which maybe I shouldn't have. But it's in the news right now and we do have to briefly talk about what happened with Anthem and the fiasco that was the situations and the conditions regarding the development of the game at BioWare. It is now confirmed that all of the things that could have possibly gone wrong with the development cycle actually happened, and it really explains a lot. I encourage you guys to read Jason Schreier's article. It is absolutely fascinating and disturbing at the same time. My god, BioWare, what have you done? Just for a little bit of quick context, because the article is a little bit lengthy, we now know that many of the developers had several issues with the Frostbite engine and its incompatibility. We also know that Anthem was originally a concept that was not a third-person looter shooter. It was something called Beyond. What's even more egregious, and we can now confirm this, is that the developers intentionally included main mission storylines in order to pad out the game and throttle back player progression, and you guys all know what mission I'm talking about. And finally, in probably one of the most ethically bankrupt business decisions that I've ever seen, that trailer that we saw at 2017's E3 event was a fake. They essentially didn't have a game at that time. And I just want to be clear, I'm not blaming the dev team. They worked their asses off on this game, and all of these things came from higher up, and they really didn't have a choice. But I encourage you guys to please read the article. It gets much worse. It's really going to give you a unique insight into the incredible amount of pressure that the development team was under, despite that bullshit spin from BioWare. And while we're on the subject of questionable ethics, today we got some merchandise from another huge game company that really was pretty shady about their launch event. So let's finally get to it. Today we're going to be reviewing the Modern Icons ThinkGeek exclusive Fallout Vault Girl statue. Let's take a closer look. Now by now, if you've been following the show, you know how much of a huge fan I am of Fallout. So anytime there is some merchandise that is released, I definitely want to take a look at it and review it on the show. Now I absolutely love this statue, but I have a few issues with the head sculpt. Now, it looks great overall. The main problem is the way that she's winking at you. It looks like she got jabbed in the eye. The hair sculpt is done pretty well, the makeup is okay, but that eye looks horrible. The other eye was done very sloppy, and she ends up looking just mutated, which in Fallout makes kind of sense. Now where this statue fares a lot better is definitely in the midsection and upper torso. The color palette here is wonderful, it's very vibrant, I absolutely love the Fallout suit, that shade of blue is magnificent, and the sculpt is done very well. I also love that highlighted yellow, which looks really great, and the textures are done very well. But for me, what makes this statue totally worth it is definitely the Pip-Boy. Look at how much detail is there. The color is magnificent. They recreated that olive drab really well, and the little details in the screen, you see that Pip-Boy kind of throwing his thumb at you. It looks great, guys. Now the art direction of these statues are always really awesome. Of course, it incorporates that 1950s Americana. I love the hammer that's slung over her shoulder, which looks really great. Now this thing is incredibly detailed. The color palette is magnificent, and there's a lot of wear and wash on it, and it does look very industrial and very metal looking. It's just awesome, guys. And if you ever use this in the game, you'll know what devastating blows you can make with this thing. It is so freaking cool, guys. It's these details that really save this piece for me. It's so funny because the further down you go on this piece, the more remarkable and incredible it is. I absolutely love the stance here. Apart from the fact that it's very sexy and the statue is very shapely, I also love that it is very subtle, but it makes such a great statement. The sculpt in the boots is fantastic. I absolutely love the detail here, especially at this price point. Again, the color palette is done very well. I like that her leg is slightly raised. Again, it looks just so nice and very in tune with that 1950s pinup girl vibe. Now this one you definitely have to mirror because there is so much detail on the reverse side. Apart from the fact that you really get a nice look at the hair sculpt, you also really get a greater sense of how detailed the hammer is. I mean, just look at that. The reverse side does read the name of the vault that she emerged from, presumably. That's Vault 111. Looks really great and it does stand out. And of course, we have some wonderful fan service here, guys. It looks absolutely amazing. We also get a greater sense of the engineering in this piece and how she actually attaches to the base. Overall, it's really well done. Definitely mirror this one. Very similar to the Nuka-Cola Girl statue, Modern Icons always does some really magnificent things with her bases, and this one is no exception. What she's essentially standing on is the door to the actual vault, And that cog is really nice because it stands out in that brilliant yellow, offset against that kind of rustic blue, which looks fantastic. It's a little hard to read because she's standing on it, but it does read Vault 111, which is also a nice touch. The perimeter of the base is solidly round. I also noticed that there's this highlighted green at the base, which would have been really cool if it lit up, but of course that would have made the price go up significantly. And of course what always makes me happy is that it's a relatively small footprint in relation to the piece. Now I can't necessarily give this my holy grail seal of approval, not because it's a bad statue, but the damn head sculpt does have a few problems, and that's the only reason. But other than that, it's a great piece. I do highly recommend it though, and in my opinion it's a must own, and the great thing about it is that you won't have to shell out too many bottle caps because it is reasonably priced. Now before I go, I just want to thank the folks over at ThinkGeek for sending this wonderful piece over for review. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Modern Icon's ThinkGeek exclusive Fallout Vault Girl statue. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.
Got a doll baby, I love her so. Nothing else like her anywhere you go. A man, she's anything but calm. A regular pint-sized atom bomb. Atom bomb, baby, little atom bomb. I want her in my wigwam. She's just the way I want it to be. A million times hotter than TNT. Atom bomb baby, loaded with power, radioactive as a TV tower, a nuclear fission in her soul.